Okay, let's talk about the indictment of John Bolton, the former National Security Advisor and former UN ambassador. He was indicted on charges of violating the Espionage Act, where he made 8 transmissions and 10 instances of retention of classified information in an unauthorized fashion. And what Mr. Bolton did was he used non secure email to transmit classified information to his personal email account. And then he shared it with family members where they were helping him in the editing process of writing a book. He also retained thousands of what they consider to be handwritten notes and sensitive information at his residence where he was not authorized to hold such information. So we got to look at this as an instance where possibly we're going to start seeing some of these senior officials who openly disregard our intent and legal obligation to protect classified information. We're going to see these people start being indicted and possibly punished under the consequences of the law. A couple of things to consider as we're talking about this is John Bolton should have known better. In the positions that he held as the National Security Advisor, as well as a UN ambassador to the UN, he received numerous defensive counterintelligence briefings, counterterrorism briefings, and security briefings to where he knew what the procedures were, and he chose to disregard security protocols anyway, as he was trying to write a book after he left office. So, what we're looking at is the FBI, out of its Baltimore, Maryland field office, conducted the investigation. They actually searched Mr. Bolton's home and they gained access to his electronic media, his electronic equipment, and they found evidence that he had retained this information outside of legal and security requirements. So, what we're looking at here is how is this case going to proceed? Well, Mr. Bolton is going to claim that this is political vindictiveness, and I tend to disagree with him on this one because he did certain things knowingly that created this situation. Now, the Biden administration chose not to bring an indictment. They chose not to pursue it under their Department of Justice and their prosecutorial discretion. But under the current administration, this Department of Justice decided that it was an egregious enough violation of the Espionage Act that they would pursue an indictment and a prosecution. So, a couple of things to think about here. What's going to happen next? What kind of horse trading? What kind of pre-trial negotiations are going to go on? Will there be a plea agreement? Will he walk out of this more than likely with a couple of scrapes and bruises and no jail time? He's not going to get anything that I consider to be substantive or consequential enough to discourage this type of behavior in the future. And you'll hear people say, well, what about Trump? He had classified information. He was the president of the United States, who is the ultimate classification and declassification authority. Biden had classified information at his residence as well, which he should not have had because he was a senator and then the vice president, neither of which are authorized to be that classification and declassification authority. So you'll hear that thrown around a lot too. So again, 18 counts right now, 8 for transmission, 10 for retention, and you're going to look at a lot of lawyering and wrangling on what can be seen and what has to be passed to the defense for discovery. And we're going to have to see how this thing plays out. But as I said at the beginning, I'm glad to see that we're finally going to start taking some of this stuff seriously. Our national secrets are important to the longevity and the well-being of our country. and we've got to start protecting this stuff with a little bit more energy and intensity. So, love to hear what you think about this. I know everybody thinks that no one in DC is ever punished for anything. Well, here's an opportunity to see some consequence for this violation of the Espionage Act by a senior government official who most certainly should have known better and did know better and chose to do this anyway. So, a couple of other items to think about. Let's see. Yeah, we're looking at documents that were ranging from the secret to the top secret level, and they had a whole bunch of different handling caveats with them, such as human controlled human intelligence, signals intelligence, and things of that sort. And to make things even worse, there's a reference in the indictment document, in the charging documents, that say that Iran reportedly compromised this particular email account that belonged to Mr. Bolton and could have had access to classified sensitive information. I have not seen any detail on an exposure or damage assessment yet, so we really don't know what the Iranians could have had access to or would have access to. And I'm sure that's going to be worked through as the investigation matures a little bit more and the trial begins. So, love to hear your thoughts. Let's get some of this stuff taken care of. Let's make sure our senior government officials are abiding by the rules and setting a good example in protecting our nation's secrets. So, thanks. Appreciate it. Out.